attached to the bottom of your seat. Reach under your seat. We're going to put blindfolds on. I'm just joking. We're not going to do that. But with blind tasting, so to keep things simple, the first thing we're doing to evaluate the wine, we're going to look, we smell, we taste, and then we think or conclude. So the first thing we're doing here, we know this is Pinot Noir. Typically when you're doing a blind tasting, you're evaluating the wines for the color. So I would look at Pinot Noir, for example. It's a lighter color wine. So if we were comparing that to, say, a Cabernet Sauvignon, which would be much darker, that would lead us to believe that we were drinking a lighter wine like this Pinot Noir. For these two wines in particular, you might notice a difference in color. That might give you an idea of an old world style, new world style of wine. And then once we move on to appearance, then we're looking at nose and aroma. So we're looking to evaluate the wines on fruit, red fruit, cherry, raspberry. What are we smelling? And then after that, we're evaluating palate and finish. And then it's all a matter of which wine do we like better. It's all up to you. This is just an example of some of the characteristics of Pinot Noir that you might find. So there's the fruit aromas, non-fruit aromas, herbal that you'll find from the different soil types, the different regions. And then what we'll do is we'll have Brian here is going to run us through a little Pinot Noir 101. But this is how at Intervine, this is how we evaluate all the wines that we taste for the wine programs that we manage. Once we know the parameters of a given category for a placement, we know it's Pinot Noir, we know the budget, we know essentially once they've made it into the tasting, then we taste everything in bags. We taste it all blind, and we're basically just judging the wine on its merit. There's no bias on a certain region, a certain style, a certain brand, and oftentimes you might be surprised at which one of the wines you like best. So what we'll do now, if everybody's had a chance to try wine 1 versus wine 2, we'll ask you to raise your glass for your favorite wine. So who prefers wine number 1? Please raise wine number 1. So we have 4 people, I believe. Anyone over here? 4 votes. Okay, wine number 2. Please hold your glass up high so we can count. Excellent. So wine number 2, it looks to be unanimous. Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do now is please finish or enjoy if you have. I know we don't have tables, but if you have somewhere, you can set the glasses down, and we're going to bring over wines 3 and wines 4. And then we're going to have you hang on to those glasses because we're going to do a final gold medal round, which will be the winner of each of round 1 and round 2 to decide who wins the Pinot Noir Olympics. And I'm going to kick it over to my colleague Brian, who's going to walk us through a little bit of just Pinot Noir knowledge in general and talk about some of the most famous regions and the grape itself.
Thanks, Chris. So as Chris said, Pinot Noir is typically a lighter colored wine. For all red wines, the color comes from the skins. Wines made from grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon or Nebbiolo or Merlot, those grapes are slightly thicker, so they lend more color to the finished wine. If you take a red wine grape and cut it in half and sort of very, very gently squeeze it, the juice that runs from that will actually be clear. It's the pressing of the grape with the skin on it that lends the color to it. Pinot Noir is a little bit lighter or a little bit thinner skin, so therefore a little bit less color. Its origin home, we're going to take a look at 4 different regions. Its origin home is in Burgundy. That's where typically most of the really, really great Pinot Noir are grown. It's in Burgundy, which is just getting over towards the sort of east side of France and down below Chablis. Very, very elegant wines, great color, great structure, lots of aromas of both fruit, sometimes leather, rose hips, and mushroom, and this sort of that wet forest floor after a rain, that real fresh vegetal is a kind of a hallmark of wine of Pinot Noirs from Burgundy. One of the other top regions in the world is from Oregon. These wines are a little bit higher in acid, typically, or that's one of the markers for them. If you think of the Oregon climate, and the climate that Pinot Noir does the best in, tends to be much cooler. Pinot Noir does not like to be stressed too much. It does not like a high heat environment. So any areas where there's sort of fog in the evening or in the early morning hours to cool down the vineyards before the sun comes out and creates the sugar is really an area that Pinot Noir will do very well in. So as you can see in Oregon, you've got the sort of more mountainous and hilly side of the state near the ocean, and then as you move inland, it gets to be a little bit drier, and that's where some of the best wine country is. A lot of cranberry and cherry in here, less sort of rustic than Burgundian Pinot Noir can be. It's a little bit brighter, great with food. In the Pacific Northwest, you'll often get Pinot Noir paired with salmon, for example, which we often think, white wine with fish, red wine with meat, but Pinot Noir, because of its lightness and its delicacy, can really be a grape that you can often serve with seafood as well. New Zealand is becoming more of a well-known region for Pinot Noir. Of course, we always think of it for Sauvignon Blanc, but Pinot Noir, again, because you've got a lot of the maritime influence, you've got cooler temperatures, sort of a longer growing season. It's an area that is becoming more and more well-known for Pinot Noir. Here, because it's a little cooler, maybe a little bit more of a firm tannic structure to it, and you'll know tannins if you ever leave a black tea bag in water too long, and then you sip that real sort of that's tannin. And when the wine is young, the tannin molecules are individual. So they really sort of get into your taste buds and are a little bit more aggressive. As the wine ages, the tannin molecules all make friends, and they join together in chains, and then those chains sort of lay on top of your taste buds, and they're not quite as aggressive. So a wine becomes a little bit softer with age as the tannin molecules all bind up together. And then kind of a ringer this year in honor of the country we're in, maybe one of the wines is from Germany, I'm not sure. But this is a region that we don't often think of as a Pinot Noir producer, and certainly Germany, at least for the average consumer, is more well known for their whites, for their Rieslings, their Sylvaners, their Müller-Thurgau. But there's a lot of, and more every day, a lot of really great Pinot Noir coming out of Germany. And as I've said a few times, I think with the onset of climate change and global warming, we'll be drinking German Cabernet in our lifetime, and it'll probably be pretty good. Here again, a little bit more elegant, a lot of cherry flavors, raspberry, strawberry that really sort of complement the wines, and again make them very, very food friendly.
Okay, so now we've tried wines 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but we need to vote on our favorite amongst wine 3 and 4. So who preferred wine 3 better? Please raise your glass. Wine 3. Keep it held high. Okay, wine 4. Who preferred wine 4? Pinot Noir number 4. wine. That was close, much, much closer than the first round. So it looks like we have wine number 2 and wine number 4 are going to be moving on. So into the gold medal round. So please, if you have 4 glasses in front of you, let's keep those there. We're going to give you a little bit more of wine number 2 and a little more of wine number 4 if you need it. So we'll be around to pass out a little bit more wine so we can do the final round and crown the gold medal winner.
How would my angels gone away, feeling deeper on.
Okay, so Pinot Noir versus Pinot Noir Pinot 2 versus Pinot 4. So smell, taste, evaluate. And this is really just about your personal opinion. Which wine would you rather order at a restaurant? Which wine would you like another glass of? And then almost no wrong answers. And I think there's going to be some surprises. So I'm excited about how this competition is turning out. Everybody had a chance to taste both again. So let's go. Who prefers wine number 2? Raise your glass high. Wine number 2. All right. Wine number 4, please. Raise your glass. Wine number 4. Pretty close. Okay. Mark, what do we have?
But 4-1 against 2. 4-1. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, so we'll unveil the wines. We'll go in order here. So which one do you have there? Wine number 1. So this wine did not win. This is the birthplace of Pinot Noir. This is from Burgundy. So wine number 1 was a Red Burgundy. And we'll have these wines over here, and then we'll have some more Pinot Noir at our booth right behind you. So if you'd like to try some more Pinot, please come see us and we'll pour you another glass.
Two.
I'll do wine. Let's do wine 3 next.
Huh?
Wine 3. Wine 3, so also, I guess this one was not the winner of its flight. This was the Tavola Pinot Noir from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. So another very famous Pinot Noir region. Pinot number 3 was Oregon, also did not make the cut.
No way.
And so the winner was Central Otago from New Zealand. So also we would consider this a New World wine, a little bit warmer growing climate, but they make fantastic wines in New Zealand, and this is no surprise, Central Otago. So gold medal winner, we had Burgundy versus Germany. Germany beat out Burgundy. Interesting, I love it. And then we had Oregon versus New Zealand, and New Zealand takes the gold.